Hey, we're My Chemical Romance.
Welcome to Sessions at AOL. I used to work at a Barnes & Noble. One day somebody left a stack of Irvine Welsh books, and as I was picking them up, that phrase caught me on the back. It was talking about how his stuff was coined as chemical romances, and I was like, wow, I'm surprised nobody's used that as a band name yet.
It just fit so well on so many different levels. The band name meant so many different things having to do with antidepressants or alcoholism. It had a lot to do with the overall picture of what we were, saying.
A lot of my influences come from my older brother. He started me playing guitar, and he used to listen to stuff like Jeff Beck, Joe Satriani, a lot of guitar players, Jimi Hendrix, and he got me into Guns N' Roses and Metallica and Iron Maiden.
I started playing music because my dad played music, my grandfather played music, and it was just kind of in the family. Kind of fell into it, and then started playing guitar because I liked to write songs. My dad started me on listening to blues, Richie Havens, other folk guitar players, and I learned about hardcore and got into that.
I think the first kind of thing for me was a band called Rush.
I love you dropping
A band called Rush.
I like
Little
Rush
band
too,
called
man.
Who are they?
I didn't mean it like that, That's when I started to get really into music.
I wanted to get into music probably since the age of 6 or 7. I didn't quite know why. I just really, really wanted to be in a band. Probably the first thing I could remember listening to was just really terrible 80s metal, like Iron Maiden, Poison. As I got older, I moved more into punk rock, pop punk, and stuff like that.
I was very influenced by Iron Maiden early on. That was probably the first band that somebody was nice enough to have me discover while I was wearing a Poison t-shirt, which was very embarrassing at the time. It was also the same day that I played Dungeons & Dragons, which the two are very linked. I feel Iron Maiden and Dungeons & Dragons, and then I discovered punk rock.
In the middle of a gunfight, in the center of a restaurant, they say, come with your arms raised.
The concept for the record, Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge, was the story of a man and a woman who are separated by death in a gunfight, and he goes to hell only to realize by the devil telling him that she's still alive. The devil says, you could be with her again if you bring me the souls of 1,000 evil men. And so he hands him a gun and he says, I'll go do it. That was the idea behind the concept. The record ended up being much more about loss in real life than anything, so I would say it's a good split. When I was a kid, I realized that everybody dies. And I realized that one day I wouldn't have my parents, I wouldn't have anybody else, and I'd probably end up alone. And I'd even die. And I think I was 8, and I freaked out about it for a good 3 years. Not until I became a teenager did I even start to accept it. I never really felt death super close either until my grandma had passed away. But in the end, I think I started to see some kind of beauty or release in death. And I think that made it even more so to become death obsessed. I think I was inspired more by movies than any musicians. There's a movie called Phantom of the Paradise by Brian De Palma, which is this rock opera from the 70s. Just like Rocky Horror Picture Show and rock operas and things like that. Because I like the element of theater involved in them, and I like the storytelling and the lyrics. That's what I like about Nick Cave or Tom Waits, is they're big storytellers. The blood on our hands and face during concerts is all real.
Yeah.
There was a time where I was pouring fake blood on myself to emulate the guy on the cover of the record. But other than that, any other blood you've seen has definitely been real blood. There was an instance in Detroit where Ray got his head cut open, and people thought it was fake for the longest time, and his face was a mask of blood. I was terrified for the rest of the set. So
Frankie hit me with his guitar.
Oh, weird.
Well, he was missing a tuning
Not his
peg.
fault,
And so if you lose a tuning peg, you just have a jagged piece of metal sticking out, and it just went. The biggest misconception about My Chemical Romance is that we are vampires.
You think?
No,
It wasn't the beginning.
that's an older one.
I still get that.
What is another misconception?
That we have any money.
People think
Yeah,
that?
people think we're effing loaded
Yeah.
for some reason. Just because we got all this bling on. People think we're rich vampires.
There you go.